The real rivalry, Imaad, welcome back. So, man, looks like another really rough weekend for Arsenal, huh? And Arsenal fans. So, Manchester City 5, Arsenal nil. What do you have to say about that one?
It's just every week if we just I mean, it's literally like you think it just can't get any worse, and then every week it just progressively you see it getting worse. And it's not even just like, I mean, obviously I wasn't expecting to go and win or like even get a draw at the Etihad. It's just like the manner of the defeat, like it's just like the acceptance from like the players, like in terms of like just there's just zero urgency. I don't think they're playing for the manager anymore. Like, I mean, again, for like that first 10 minutes, I felt like we started the game well. Like, I was a bit surprised. Like, I mean, we won the front foot. And the first real attack City have, I mean,
They
we just
scored.
concede. Like, it's just ridiculous. I mean, we concede goals. Like, we can't. Like, I mean, the only thing Arteta was doing properly last year was like at least making us like a little tough to beat. And if he can't do that, I mean, if he can't do that, like he's got nothing going for him because we know as like in terms of like developing an attacking style of play, he doesn't have anything. He hasn't.
Right.
He's been here almost 2 years now, and we've seen absolutely no progress on the pitch in terms of what kind of football. Like what is he trying to play? Is he trying to play a high
Right.
press? We don't. We don't. We is he trying to play possession football? We don't play on the counter anymore. We don't like. There's just nothing. I mean, you just look
There's
at
no
the team
identity to the
selection.
team. Yeah. Like the weird thing that I saw was, right, like just adding to what you were saying, right? There's no identity to the team. And then, like, we were talking about how in the Chelsea game, he should have gone with a back five and matched Tuchel's formation because that's probably one of the best ways of countering what Chelsea offer. And strangely enough, he goes with a back four against Chelsea and then picks a back five against Man City and he starts Kolasinac
Fair enough.
left centre back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you look at the team selection. I mean, all the way from the back. From you look at Cedric at wing back. I mean, that's questionable again. Like we discussed this last week. He doesn't know who his favorite right back is. I mean, it was Chambers at the beginning. Now it's Cedric,
Right.
and you got a back three of Callum Chambers, Rob Holding, and Kolasinac. All of them are fucking Wenger players. All of
And
them
they
are
are
Wenger
poor.
players.
They are bad.
Holding costs £2 million for a reason because he's a £2 million player. He's absolute shit, and he
Right.
hasn't developed. And he's been here six years or something now. I mean, he cost 2 million because he's shit. Uh,
Right.
we saw last year at the Etihad, we saw Rob Holding getting beaten by Raheem Sterling at the
In the
back
end,
post, and
yeah.
Sterling scored. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
week it was the other Callum Chambers getting beaten by Gundogan in the. I mean,
Gundogan,
like
yeah.
these defenders, these guys are not defenders. They're not proper defenders. And then you
Right.
have Kolasinac playing in the back three, and Pablo Mari, who is apparently Arteta's guy. The guy Arteta signed is suddenly like on the bench now all of a sudden. And why was he in the team for the first two games against Chelsea and Brentford? All
Right.
this surrounding the whole William Saliba thing. You have apparently a world class centre back, like a world class talent who's been like being out of France, like,
Right. He's
and
been
he's
doing
just
really well
not
in
getting a run. He's
France.
not getting a run, and he's not getting a run in this defense. It just is beyond me. We spent 50 million on Ben White when we have this guy, and you're
Hmm.
playing a back three of Kolasinac, Holding, and Chambers. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Tierney could have slotted into that back three.
Exactly. Exactly. He
I
had
mean,
many
Pablo
options.
Mari.
He had many
And yeah,
options,
and you
man.
look at the
Yeah.
midfield. Look at the midfield. I mean, who's been our best player for the first two games of the season?
Lukonga,
Sammy
right?
Lokonga. Where was he? Where was he? I mean, what's his reward for playing well? I mean, you bring in Granit Xhaka, who does exactly what Granit Xhaka does. I mean, we saw it again. And
Right.
I mean, honestly, like we know he's brain dead. Like he's not going to learn. And you
Hmm.
look at what Arteta said post match. I mean, he was clearly asked, like, aren't you like what like how like Granit Xhaka is an experienced player. Like how come he keeps doing this? And he literally just said that the only thing that he was upset about was the consequences of the team. I mean, he should be slating Xhaka. The
Xhaka,
thing is,
yeah.
he's
For
going to be
the
back. He's going to be back in the team immediately and be
right.
playing ahead of Lokonga. And there's you literally for Arteta, you do as you're told, and I play you every week. It's as simple as that. And
Right.
Odegaard, he tried to play in the central midfield. It just
That
did not
also made
work.
no
And
sense. Yeah, made no sense. Like, see, against Man City, I feel you need to pack your midfield a little bit. You know they're going to dominate possession and they're going to pack the middle of the ground. You need to counter that in some way. And you had
And who's the
Xhaka and
most, and you
Odegaard,
have to
like,
play, yeah, and you the most combative player in our team is Sambi Conga. We
Conga,
saw that.
right,
He gets around. Xhaka is immobile. He doesn't move the ball quick. Everything you don't need when you're playing against a team like City who are going to press you and not going to give you any time on the ball and
right.
who are going to attack you and you're going to need to be like mobile to defend. and
Right.
he got it all wrong. And now it's just like, I mean, I honestly am just waiting for us to just like part ways with this guy, because there's no progression. I mean, what are we gonna do? We got it's a bottom of the table clash. We're bottom of the league. I mean, we
Right.
six
19th
pointer
against
against
20th.
six
Right.
pointer against Norwich coming up, and they'll probably fancy us.
100% they
Um,
will. I think Arsenal are currently, like, the table doesn't lie, man. 20th, right? 9 goals conceded, zero scored. And it's not even like, Norwich lost their games, but they haven't been humiliated the way Arsenal have. Like, each game against Brentford, you guys were terrible. Against Chelsea, that was a walk in the park for Chelsea. And City, that was probably one of the most one-sided games you're ever going to watch. So I don't know what the board are waiting for, but looking at the current condition, like, where's the improvement? He finished eighth twice, 2 seasons back
I,
to back. Like, obviously, he had only one half of the first season he was in charge. Last season, he finishes eighth. This season, he spent a lot of money now. No one can say he didn't get
yeah, he's
time.
got
He
his
didn't
he's
get,
got his entire team, and
and by no
got
means should this team be 20th. That's all I'm going to say. By no means should they be performing as badly as they are. And that's the first job of a manager, right? Get the best out of the players you're being offered. And one of the simplest ways to look at this is do a comparison between what Tuchel came in and did at Chelsea. He started to get the best out of his players, and they're a transformed team. Look at Spurs. 3 games, 3 wins, top of the table.
I mean, you
Really
need to build a base. I
exciting.
mean, either way, I mean, like you see with Spurs, I mean, you don't know. I mean, it could just be a new manager bounce,
Right.
whatever it is. But the minute it goes sour, like teams, no owners wait this long to take action. I mean, like Arsenal, like we said earlier, like there's no consequences for players on the pitch. Like they make mistakes in their back on the pitch. Like Shaka, he's going to be back.
Right.
Holding, Chambers, they're all going to be back in the team. Same with Arteta. There's just no accountability. I mean, they're going to just let this just keep going on and on and on until like it literally gets to the point where, I mean, I don't know how it can get much worse than this. They're probably just looking at it thinking that, oh, we've had a bunch of injuries. We played City and Chelsea games. We were never going to win anyway.
Right.
But the thing is, they have no ambition. I don't want to get into the board and the owners right now because I mean, we know how badly I want them out as it is. But
Right.
all we I want to talk about right now is what I'm seeing on the pitch, and all I know is
Exactly.
on paper, Arteta has been backed by the owners this window. Like he has been given the money, he spent it on. Now we just spent another 20 million today, by the way, on this Japanese right back becomes centre back. Bellerin's gone, thank God for that.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, I mean, another 20 million on a guy I've never heard of. I mean, what the
Right.
fuck is going on? I mean,
It's
it's just
mismanagement, man. It's mismanagement of funds. Like, United went through this post Fergie a little bit, right? Like, Arsenal have spent all this money. I think that takes your net spent like 140 or something for this season, and you've spent the most money out of anyone in the Premier League, I believe, still so far. And honestly, not many of the players signed have actually improved your first team. The plan should have been, we need to sign 3, 4 players for the first team. You needed a right back.
yeah, not a second choice goalkeeper
Right.
for 30 million.
Exactly, makes no sense at all. So I think the funds have been mismanaged for sure, like, because the club's not being ran well. But regardless of all that, right, even if you sign nobody this season, I still think Arsenal are at least a top 8, top 9 squad, for sure. And Arteta is not, like, the way he started the season. I don't know if he stays. I don't know where you'll finish. Like,
I mean, I really don't think we have it. We have, I mean, if you look at our attacking, like we have like a decent, like we have a decent attacking like team. I mean, like you put Saka, Pepe on like you get these players on form, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Martin Odegaard. I mean, that's better than like
Smith Rowe,
all that.
Martinelli.
Exactly, that's better than all the teams out like your traditional big six. Obviously, I mean, apart from
Hmm.
like, I mean, I feel like on paper that's better than Leicester, that's better than West Ham, it's better than
It,
Everton
it
on
is.
paper.
It is.
And
It
you get a
is.
good manager, and like, I mean, you just get a good manager who makes us hard to beat, and you get who gets these players fired up. I mean, apparently I've been reading that the players are confused by Arteta's like tactics and training. I mean, he's
Hmm.
apparently trying to like overcomplicate it, and you can't really do that when you don't have the CV. I mean, if Pep's trying to tell you something, you're gonna try
Hmm.
and make sense of it because you just respect him. But when a novice, I mean, who's literally like being scrutinized every single day by the media, and you know that like, I mean, you're playing in the worst ever Arsenal team, and
Right.
you're
He
gonna
has
lose
no
faith in him as a
credibility.
player.
Yeah, he has no credibility. So I just think the job is way too big for him. And, like, I think the worst thing that can happen to Arsenal is that they beat Norwich, they beat Burnley, and they draw against Spurs. And then this guy is around for another 3 months. I hope that happens, but I don't see him turning it around in the long run. In the long run, he is not good enough to manage Arsenal. That's just what it
Yeah, but
is.
it's that. I mean, unfortunately, I don't see them sacking him until like unless he literally goes on a run of 5, 6 straight defeats, and like probably won't happen. We do have quality. Like I mean, it is going to come through at some stage. We
Hmm.
probably will beat Norwich. We'll struggle against Burnley. It'll be like a 50-50 anyone's game.
Hmm.
We probably go lose to Spurs then. But he's
Right.
still probably going to be around. I mean, I honestly don't have any faith. I mean, I've lost interest. Like, I don't look forward to the games anymore. It's just literally just out of a habit that you're watching it and you're kind of supporting the team, but you're not really supporting the team. I mean, you're just there hoping like that things kind of like I mean, you literally just like you're waiting for things to just get as bad as they can so you can have a
Right.
fresh
Right.
start. You just want a fresh start now because it's just like you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel and it's just like getting worse every week.
And you look at like where does the leadership come from, right? You look at that Man City Arsenal game and you're getting thumped 2-3 nil, and you look at the manager, right? Even in the Chelsea game, I noticed the same thing. Arteta has his head is in the hands, he's chewing his nails, or he's looking. He has no clue what to do. You can just see it. He does not know what to do. He's under a lot
Yeah,
of pressure.
obviously, when you've never been in that position before, you're not going to know what to do. I mean, he's never managers who have been in these positions have been in positions where like this, and they've turned it around by changing stuff. They've
Right.
tried different things, and they know like I mean, if this is not working, I go back to basics. It's just back to like you don't try and overcomplicate things further.
Mm.
Like when things are going wrong, the last thing you want to do is bring in a player like Kolasinac into your back three, a player you've been trying
Right.
to get rid of all summer. You don't do that when you have all eyes on you.
Yeah,
And
you
like
know
same with
he's
Xhaka. I
bad.
mean,
Yeah.
it's the same with Xhaka and Arteta. I mean, like it's literally like like all eyes are on you for like in those departments when you because when you're making so many mistakes and you just keep doing it again and again and again and again. And that's I mean, it's just like a badly run business. I mean, it's like a CEO of a company just constantly like
Making
giving
mistake
someone
after
a second
mistake.
chance. Yeah, like literally just keep hiring the same person. And I mean, at some level, I mean, what like even when you're looking at it as a business, Arsenal are failing as a business, man. Like we're not going to be making much money.
Right.
But at the rate we're going, we might be doing it now, but like soon we're not gonna be in Europe for another few years, and it's being run into the ground. And we're just I mean the fans are literally being finessed into believing that there's a process and there's something that we're working towards, but there's no process in
There's no
place, there's no
process.
plan in place.
I think the fans have. I mean, this is another argument here, but like the fans also need to just start protesting a little bit more at the stadium and stuff,
Yeah,
right? Like you gotta.
stop buying merchandise from the club, stop buying those fucking 10 quid beers at the Emirates. I mean, you
Right.
literally just start boycotting games. I mean, I know it's hard because you're not going to get that season ticket renewal the next year. I mean, which is amazing. I mean, that's how smart Arsenal is. I mean, they're charging ridiculous ticket prices. I mean, it's just an absolute robbery. I mean,
Right.
the club and the players, the manager, they're all frauds. And I mean, honestly, this
It's just a
club is just being run
shambles.
into the ground, and it really needs a new lease on life somehow. So Daniel Ek, please come buy this club. Someone come take over as manager. Like fucking you or
Come
me, I don't
rescue
care.
you guys.
Anyone.
Right? Literally come rescue Arsenal right now. I mean, as an opposition fan, someone who had like a lot of respect for Arsenal always, we've had some unbelievable clashes in the past, right? And it's kind of sad to see what's happening
Yeah, I
because
mean,
of
I,
right
I mean,
now
yeah, it would be sad, man, if you see United in the relegation zone like
zone
at
and
this. I mean,
stuff. Yeah, you don't
obviously,
want to see
when you're
that, you know.
struggling, yeah, it's just sad.
It's just sad, right? It's just poorly managed. Anyways, man, we'll see. At least there's an international break now, and Arteta has 2 weeks to think things through, get some players on his side because clearly he's some of the players aren't playing for him anymore, and this is his last chance, I think, to turn it around. I think there's some news that's been out saying that as well, that like he has 3-4 games to maybe turn this around, and if he doesn't, he's out.
Yeah, so let's hope he doesn't turn it around because we really need a fresh start.
Yeah, for sure, for
This
sure.
guy's a fraud and he needs to go.
He does. I agree with you, man. All right, man. We'll talk next week.